Ah yes, journaling. If you're not doing it, are you really into self-development? Because how else would you cope with the day-to-day anxieties and stresses of life? Meditating? Relaxing? Exercising? Drinking multiple cups of coffee per day? Ha! You should be doing all those things already, on top of journaling, because
no one leans on the windbreak on the voices that are inside of your head.
Don't get me wrong, but that's how I view the stigma of journaling nowadays. I've tried journaling before, but I haven't been like 30 days committed. So I want to find out just how much can your life change from just writing out a couple of words. Let's find out, starting with day 1.
Day 1 of trying to journal for 30 days in a row. I've been procrastinating on this video topic, but now's a good time to start as any because I've been just in bed with social media having a massive tight grip on my brain right now, and I've been stuck here for the past 3 hours just scrolling social media. So let's use journaling to try escape.
While I'm journaling in this time lapse, I should say that I'm going to be using Notion for the rest of the challenge to journal over physical writing. I prefer the convenience of being able to journal anywhere and also have the access to digital copies whenever I want. I know that some people love the process of physical writing, but it doesn't really do it for me. And in terms of privacy with Notion, if any of the employees are going through and reading my journal, in that case, my last 2 brain cells of thinkings have absolutely nothing to hide. If anything, I worry about the safety of those who come across my journals.
Okay, done. So that only took a few minutes, but it really untangled the knot of spaghetti thoughts that I had, and it made everything much clearer about what I need to do for the day. It broke me out of the disillusioned, drawn over gaze that I had from social media. So I'm gonna get started now. It's pushing me to action, which is what I needed. So now, onwards with the rest of my day 1.
The first 7 days of the challenge was very easy. The novelty of it made it easy to stick with as a habit, and it was a stark contrast compared to without it.
I'm not actually journaling, this is just for B-roll. Did it look cool? Because I felt cool.
But before I continue on with the rest of the video, I should explain, how do you actually journal? What are you actually writing about when you journal? And what are you supposed to write about that is able to change your life? So this is the template that I'm using. The reason that I'm using this template is because what I want to get out of journaling is that I want to improve my mental health, be able to keep track of my days, and to be more productive. These questions / template is what I found to have worked best for what I'm trying to achieve with journaling. So in the morning, I try clear my brain completely with the amount of trash that I come up with overnight. Every day is a trash takeout day. And the following questions are what primes my brain for the day. So what makes today great? I always try to just do one single activity that is the most important activity. That makes it so that you prioritize and able to go through the rest of the day without feeling guilty if you deviate from the plan. The next question is to list 3 things you're grateful for. The science speaks for itself. People that have journaled about what they're grateful for feel much more emotionally stable. And I need that in my life right now. And the third thing that I do is have a daily affirmation, as much of a woo-woo as it seems, but psychologists have found that you lead with identity and the actions follow that after. I dismissed this journaling prompt initially, but here I am utilizing it now. And last prompt is to just detox my brain, what's on my mind, and I just use it as a therapist and dump everything about my emotional baggage onto the page so I'm not thinking about it for the rest of the day. I'm also going to be trying to journal at the end of the day just to have as a day review and a bit of a pre-mortem / autopsy to be able to hold myself accountable. So where could I have improved today as an individual? And also just to end the day on a good note, just highlight 3 amazing things that happened today. But after doing this for a week, I've realized that the nighttime stuff over here, the parts that I'm actively looking to improve on, it's very hard to access. So I've decided to try and make it into a database, which is the one that I'm building here now. I'm going to start using it today. I want to have a memory filter so I know exactly what category I can tag it in and search it up on a future base. I want to have Anyways, I'm rambling now. This is the system that I'll be using for the rest of the challenge. I'll have it linked at the end of the video that you can copy it across as a template and use for yourself. But I'm not going to link it here because I need the average view duration and you're going to enjoy this video. So by using these prompts and questions, it allows me to look at my thoughts a lot more differently.
Today is day 7 of me journaling. I am sick, sneezing, and have a crunchy cough. Can my body please not do that? Smiley face. So I've been doing daily journaling for the past week, and the main realization that I've come to is that it's a great extensive way of doing extra thinking. Essentially what I mean by that is that you're able to go deeper into your thoughts, because normally you would just have the same thoughts that you continuously think back, but once you're able to capture that onto a page, you're able to go deeper past the point that you would have normally. So it's great for being mindful and bringing your attention to things that you wouldn't have registered otherwise. Okay, let me see if I can find a much more tangible example. Here's a good example. So recently I found, without fail, I would find myself in bed scrolling webtoons or manga at the end of the night at like 9-10 p.m. without fail. It would get my eyes really fatigued and just drained mentally before going to sleep, and would therefore lead to bad sleep quality. So I started journaling about it to try to come up with a solution. Just the act of journaling about it brought to my attention that it was a problem, and therefore I tried to come to a solution. So what I was looking for was some form of entertainment that had good storytelling and good characters. And what I arrived to as a conclusion was reading paperback books. Del Toro Quest fucking slaps. So it ticked all the boxes that I wanted, and also led to a healthier habit of getting better sleep. It was good in the sense that it brought to my attention that something needed to change, but it was still really bloody hard on trying to give up manga at late at night, because that shit was really entertaining. And it was hard to change that habit, because if you try to approach me and take it away from me, I would have been like, you're gonna pry it from my cold, dead hands. Fortunately, I was able to ease off it over a couple of days. So journaling brings your attention to the problem, but it doesn't actually solve them. You still need to take the active steps. Whereas I was still of the mindset of, if I journal about it, it'll fix all my problems. But no, you still actually have to do the work.
Journaling for the first 7 days was empowering. However, after that time, the novelty started to wear off, and getting the habit under control got rid of the shiny object syndrome, and I started to become aware that it's not all highs.
Time is past 10 p.m, which is a bit of an issue considering that I haven't even touched today's journal.
I'm only going to be writing a couple of sentences because I have so much stuff to do. I need to get ready for bed, which is why my hair is wet, I just showered. I need to follow up a contact on LinkedIn. I need to get a project started that's really urgent, and also need to organize social events for the upcoming weekend. So I'm perfectly fine to forego the fact that I'm not going to get anything out of journaling today. I'd much rather stay consistent with the course than force something at the cost of my actual life. Because journaling should be increasing the quality and complementing my life, rather than getting in the way of it. So I'm just going to write a couple of sentences to keep up the momentum. If it weren't for this challenge, I know I wouldn't be doing this otherwise. I know it's a very slippery slope once you lose momentum. The first day, it's a mistake. The second day, it's the start of a bad habit. And the third day, I might as well start doing coke. For legal reasons, that was a joke.
This is definitely starting to feel like a chore at this point. I just want to go to sleep, and I still got to do my journal entry for the day.
Besides being tired, there were also other hiccups along the way.
Notion's gone off and decided to shit itself this morning. So I'm just sitting here waiting for it to load, and it's not even working. So it's time to bring back the old-fashioned version.
This is the thing about handwriting, it's a lot slower than actually typing it out. However, people think that it's a positive. I don't see how it's a positive. It's way more labor intensive and also limiting because you can only think in a linear format. You can't build out on an idea later on because, oh, you don't have any more page space. This is just me ranting, and I got through the day just fine journaling on paper. Despite the hiccups, I persevered and I started to see benefits that I would not have seen if I had given up earlier in the challenge.
There is a lot of like shit going on in my brain right now, and I can feel the sweet callings of my bed and YouTube binging calling to me right now, and I'm almost giving in. But I thought I'd tell myself I will journal for 5 minutes and I'll see how I feel, and if I still feel like it afterwards, I shall let my brain succumb to the sweet dopamine. But I have to journal first. So that only took a few minutes, but it got rid of all the shit that was just rebounding and ricocheting in my mind and getting it out into an external source. So it definitely fixed me up. The thing that sticks out to me is that knowledge is power, and knowing something gives you power over it. And the it in this scenario was just 4 dot points of thoughts that were just constantly bouncing around and just repeating themselves. Except I couldn't really pussy.
except I really couldn't put my finger around exactly how many thoughts it was. And so journaling and putting it out on the page definitely helped. So in knowing all that, all my urges are gone, and now it's time to get some work done. So that was a fucking lie. Nah, I'm just kidding. I actually got some work done. This is the deserved break that I actually got.
The last few days of me getting to 30 days of journaling wasn't that eventful, I just had to finish it off. So I'm done with the journaling and it's just really basic stuff. It's just me wanting to procrastinate because I don't have a deadline set. So in journaling this little segment now, I'm just going, get back in the pit, you demons. There's nothing revolutionary about doing this, it's just doing the basics. And it's the act of actually doing it which is making me more mindful and therefore able to make me think my way out of the situation rather than caving into my initial just knee-jerk reaction desires.
Okay, so 30 days journaling has been completed. Here are my main takeaways. Starting off with the positives, journaling has been great because you're able to just get free brownie points on good days. At the end of the day, you just journal about it and you get to relive the experience. And you get another dopamine hit just from recalling the day. You're able to learn from the bad days, but relive the good ones.
Can't believe today was a good day.
I think journaling definitely helped with coming up with new and better ideas. It forces to break through your initial shell of thinking where that's all you ever think about if you don't get your thoughts down. What I've come to realize is that my thoughts are much more like layers.
Like onions.
They stink?
Yes.
In order to come up with better ideas, you need to engage deeper into your thoughts. And you're only able to do that by putting your initial thoughts on a page and therefore being able to engage with them and build more onto them. And as soon as you start journaling more about it, you break that yucky first layer of disgusting thinking. And the last thing, which is probably the most important point that I've come to realize, is that it's able to get you answers that only you know how to get by being accountable with yourself. For example, no one's going to know that you kept your foot in the same position as a loud, obnoxious kid is running towards you, even though you definitely had time to be able to move your foot so they don't trip over it. That story has no reflection on reality whatsoever. But what I'm going to say is that kid deserved it with the amount of shrieking that happened. Practicing introspection and self-awareness is a skill. Only you know how you can respond better in specific situations, and you can only get to that point if you don't bullshit yourself. So in that sense, journaling has helped me slow down my thinking and see the bigger picture. In other words, it's helped me be more mindful, which is a byproduct which I wasn't intentionally looking to get. But bonuses, baby, I love a free bonus. So it's ticked all the boxes I was initially looking for. It's improved my mental health, it's given me a record that I can look back on, and also it's helped with my productivity. However, there are some negatives. Okay, it's not really negatives. Things to be aware about, which are kind of bad. Getting to the nuggets of information that are actually helpful is hard. It requires you to be intentional, focused, have a good enough recollection to be able to remember the day, and last of all, you need to be self-aware enough to be able to even identify the problem. You have to be really conscious and intentional with the mindset of what are you actually trying to get out of journaling. If you don't have an intentional outcome, then your thoughts will be fragmented, scattered, and all you'll be doing is just making notes of your thoughts. So it was a much more active activity than I thought it was passive of just writing down your thoughts and going, hee hee, I'm learning things. You need to invest the time in order to be able to get the depth. It took me 15 minutes just to do the bare minimum of journaling. And sometimes I found myself going up to 40 minutes.
And that was just the writing aspect of it. There was still time that I had to review and look to how I was going to implement this.
Journaling is great as it captures stuff that you wouldn't have thought otherwise. It gives you the opportunity to be able to roadmap out what you want to do. That sounds like a positive, but let me explain why it's a negative. At times I realized that journaling is a trap as it gives you the illusion of progress. You've made it past step one that most of the population never do, which is to look inside of yourself and to recognize the problem. You might be different, but I just went, ooh, a little bit of dopamine for having the eureka moment of recognizing the problem, which is not the same as making actionable change. If you stop there, then it just becomes procrastination with extra steps and mental masturbation. It's done the first step of bringing awareness to the problem, but you still got to do the next steps. And the more that I journaled, the more that the problems would come up after I did more introspection, which was tough whenever I already had a full day which took up most of my focus, and there was no room to actually improve. So the more that I journaled, the more I realized I have a lot of stuff wrong with me that needs improving. And the fact that I wasn't able to act on those things just made me quite depressed because it created a discord between my current identity and the desired identity that I wish to have. And I'm only realizing the solution now is to go through the list and actually prioritize what you want to work on yourself first. Just like with any other task, you need to prioritize. But it was hard to recognize that in the process of actually spending every day journaling. So as with anything, even the good stuff like journaling, you need to do it in moderation. Knowing what I know now, I changed the title of the video to Knowing How to Journal Gives You the Opportunity to be able to change your life. If you like to give this a go yourself, I've got a Notion template of the system that I've used down in the description below. So with you knowing what I know now, how can you change your life in the next 30 days? If you like to continue to watch me to struggle to improve my life so you can take away the lessons for absolutely free, consider subscribing and checking out my other videos. Thanks for watching till the end of this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.